Okay, let's start. We have 3 of the technical committee members here and 1 or maybe more online later on. So please take it away, meet the technical committee.
Okay, hello. So we are part of the technical committee. We're very happy to have this session. And let's get started. So currently, we are the 3 people listed in red. The current chair of the technical committee is Sean Whitton. The other members are Niko Tyni, Gunnar Wolf, who is me, Simon McVitie, Elana Hashman, who's joining via Jitsi, Christoph Berg, Matthew Vernon, and Helmut Grohne. Of course, I may have pronounced whatever name, but... And of course, the older the project gets, the larger this list grows, right? Past members of the technical committee are David Bremner, Margarita Manterola, Phil Hantz, Tollef Foghin, Didier Rabu, who's sitting there, Sam Hartman, Keith Packard, Dom Armstrong, Andreas Barth, Steve Langershek, Vidal Garbi, Colin Watson, Ian Jackson, Ross Olvery, Manoj Srivastava, Anthony Towns, Raoul Miller, Vickert Ackerman, Jason Gonthrope, Guy Maor, Dale Sheets, and Clee Deans. So, what do we do? What's the task of the technical committee? Well, of course, interrupt me whenever you feel like it. I will be happy to be interrupted. The Debian committee has specific responsibilities or tasks or powers given by the Debian constitution. We can decide on any matter of technical policy, decide that any technical matter where developers' jurisdictions overlap, so that would be like a tie-breaking or opinion like choosing body. We can overrule a developer, but that requires a supermajority of votes within the team, and offer advice whenever this is needed. Of course, there are constraints. We cannot just take any issue and decide on it. The committee is tasked with having public discussion. We do have private channels, but we try not to discuss there whenever possible. I mean, we use it mostly for coordination. We have discussed there when there are personal issues that we have to cater for. We cannot do detailed design work, and that's a very strange constraint sometimes, because we can propose a solution up to a certain point, but the real implementation should not come from the technical committee. And, well, the technical committee is defined as a last resort decision-making body. Yep. So, again, the Constitution, well, I'll continue talking as if we had an image. The Debian Constitution tasks us to break ties among available options without coming up with options of our own. And it says that we have to work after all efforts to solve via consensus have been tried and failed. Excuse me. So if you have any issue you need help with, please approach us. We can offer you advice. So, well, the technical committee is a self-appointed body in the sense that new members are nominated by the committee as a whole. So it appoints its new members, which are then not approved, but pronounced by the project leader. Again, last result, conflict resolution advice providing body.
So what
Please.
will you take over?
Yes,
yeah,
please.
things we have been doing over the last year were also housekeeping stuff. We've had 2 outgoing members. David and Marga had their term ended, and we appointed new members. All of that is documented in bugs in the Debian BTS, where a new member is proposed, and then the existing committee gets to vote on if we want to have that person on the committee or not. And it worked out for Helmut and Matthew that we got on board over the last year. It's customary tradition for the TC chair to resign whenever there's any membership in the technical committee, and the chair will step down, and we elect new chair, often the same person as before, but that way we always have sort of the formal confirmation that we still think that this person should be heading the group. What we did do is to decide a few cases. One was Debian utils, which is in the essential set of things installed on a Debian system, and the maintainer of that package wants the which utility in there to go away, but we had concerns with how the migration plan there was laid out, and we had to overrule the maintainer to, in this case, not to print any deprecation warnings concerning this utility, because it broke a lot of build systems and also external workflows on systems where people just use Debian, including that utility, which suddenly started to behave differently. Then a recurring topic over the last years was the case of the merged user file system. In that case, we did not do a decision, but clarified what was meant by the previous decision, and we offered more specific advice regarding what it means for a system to be a merged user. What does it mean that things are supported or are not supported, and which milestones stones in the transition plan there are. Time is running short for the bookworm release, but just this week, what was his name? Luca Boccassi stepped up to actually lay out a plan how to bring this forward, which is actually not part of the technical committee work, because we don't do this detailed design work, but it's nice to see that things are finally moving in a good direction. Then we had a rather minor case, also concerning one of the base packages, util Linux in that case. It used to ship a script named rename.ul, which is about mass renaming files, and the Debian user was asking this file to be reinstantiated in some way in Debian. And in this case, we also overruled the maintainer to say, yes, we want to have that put back. They wanted to retire it because it has this strange name, rename.ul, because historically in Debian we have had another rename program installed by Perl, but the rest of the Linux world is using this util Linux rename program under the rename name, and the maintainer just wanted to get rid of this strange file in there, which but we said we think we need a different migration plan at that point.
The big issue here is that both renames are fully API incompatible, so there was no way of using alternatives or like that.
So it's both alternatives are kind of bad, but we have to pick one. Yeah, then there was another case of advice where we were asked to say what should happen with the combination of native source packages using non-native version numbers. The details are quite technical there. It's about when is the 1.0 source format still better than this 3.0 source format in whatever incarnation. And we issued advice there that we think that there are still use cases for using 1.0 with diff source packages. And eventually the package might get better support for that, so that can be upgraded, but we're not there yet at that point. Often it happens that closed bugs or requests for the technical committee are closed with the decision, no decision. But this year this has not happened. Usually there's usually quite a few cases where you say, no, we do not want to overrule the maintainer, but none of that has happened this year. Okay, the Constitution defines a complicated algorithm to determine when the next member of the committee is getting off board. So there's the timestamps for each of us. Elana is not on the list because she will be resigning shortly for personal reasons. So thank you for being on the board for so far. And yeah, we are looking for new members. The way that works is that, given about 2 people are rotated out each year, we need 1 or 2 new members per year. The number of people on the committee can vary a bit, but we try to keep it at about the number we have now.
Yeah, I mean, we cannot have easy things in Debian, right? We always must have complicated designations and hard to... I don't know, when I think it was when the year's term ended that we assumed it would be ending 1 year before, then it was extended because we didn't parse the Constitution correctly.
So, if you are thinking of getting on board, but are afraid of bugs like this one, this is the systemd decision, most issues are much easier than that. So we've seen let's say, small cases with this util Linux and Debian utils thing that is not as complex as that one. So don't be afraid. There's also lots of people on the committee, so no one has to do all of the work by themselves. It's also somewhat different than the usual Debian work. It's often more social than technical. Talking to people, see what people actually want, get that resolved. Right, if you think you're good at that or want to do something else than packaging, maybe this is something for you. To do that, I guess it can be summarized as the ability to talk to people and get to sensible results there. How that works, you can nominate yourself just to send an email to one of the technical committee communication channels either the mailing list, or we have also private alias if you want to get in touch without the whole world knowing. You can also propose other people that we should approach. So if you think someone is doing great work on a technical level and is good about talking about their work, talking to other people about their work, please tell us about them. We will be glad to know who to talk next, to take next on board. Yeah, we are not biting, just come to us if you have any worries. If there's, even if there's not an imminent disagreement in the project, you can also try to talk to us before things getting overboard. Maybe we can try to fix the issue before it comes to become a problem. Yeah, something we have been thinking about recently was about ways how to improve the process. In the past, we have been sending all the decisions to the Debian Devil Announce mailing list. We're planning on resuming that, maybe not for all decisions, only for the ones where we think that they are of interest for the general public. We're looking for feedback on what you think, what we should be doing better, or what we are showing, what we are doing good. So now it's time for any questions from the audience. Maybe we can also put Elana in the loop.
Am I out of the loop?
Yes,
You
we
are.
can hear
Welcome.
you. Hello.
Oh, I can hear myself too. That's good. I sound like the voice of God.
So please, questions?
Hi, just on your last point, I like the idea of you sending the formal decisions to a list that a lot of developers can see. You hesitate a little bit on saying that some of them may not be as useful to the audience, and I'm just curious if you want to ask about that. I think that the tech committee, because I don't know, it's sort of a powerful role in Debian, and it may be useful to know when that's being used. Thank you.
Can I ask you a favor? If you're comfortable, can you introduce yourself? Because you
Yes.
look like a very pixelated blob.
Yes, I'm Jeremy Bika, and I do GNOME packaging. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I think I should be picking up that one because I was the one who's being a bit reluctant on that. I think there's, let's say, bigger cases and smaller cases, and I'm not sure we want to be flooding Debian Developer Announce with things like rename URL is back, which is it has all. By the way, that utility has already disappeared in the last stable release. So and the complaint came later. So it's not like everyone is being affected by that. So and then there's a question if we are overruling some maintainer, which might imply that we think they did a bad job, and do we want to tell the general public that someone was not doing something right there? There might be some things to weigh one after the other. We do plan to post everything to one of the Devil Announce channels. What's it called? This developer news thing?
MISC developer news?
Yeah.
I sometimes accumulating stuff, and we can maybe
Paul
piggyback
Weiss
on that.
Or the publicity team is sending out every few weeks, so it would probably be part of that. So it's not about hiding things; it's just about picking the right size of audio stage for it to be.
This will also apply, I guess, for example, for decisions like the one we had about the packaging format. Well, if you announce that decision, then you have to announce, to explain a bit the details for it. And then it becomes a pain to write that mail, because it enters too much in little details that frankly I never cared about before we had to reach that decision. So, I mean, again, yeah, we're not hiding anything. We should probably find a better way to communicate, to make things properly known, but it's a whole responsibility also to write in the right way, not to lose everybody's time by understanding little minutiae that very few people will be impacted by.
So maybe, given that the last mail from our bits was also including the request for feedback on publishing information, we could do the straw poll, like whether you'd like no emails from us or accumulated emails from us, or like an email for every decision. So who would like no emails from the technical committee for decisions? And who would like an email for every decision to Debian Dev will announce, like?
Including or not including participation?
Including membership?
Membership, yes.
Oh, that's a difficult question.
Well, membership decisions are communicated because they are delegated by the DPLs.
Okay, so maybe accumulate them in some way. So we are still figuring out. Please do some feedback to us so we can do it better.
Can't you do all to Debian Devel and the biggest one to Debian Devel announce?
Could be.
Yeah, something like that will happen, I guess.
Okay, sounds good.
Yes, one question. Didier, previous technical committee member, now just a freeloading Debian developer. You mentioned that you had to vote multiple times on issues and you didn't decide any issue without voting. Why is that? Is that because the technical committee was spread across the options, or because you wanted to have explicit decisions and voting, or because you wanted to play with the voting system?
No, I was just saying that in
Not the last one.
I think what I wanted to say is that in no case the result was further discussion or no decision. So we always decided, and it was always a positive, in some way, outcome.
If I remember and I understand correctly, and for the rest of the people, sometimes before the general feeling of the committee was like whether there was a consensus on it, and no formal vote on a decision was made. We were close to that in this last package versioning thing, but there were little details, so we fell to the vote, and well, we ended up being narrowly divided upon very, very minor details.
Yeah, I think we actually are required to vote to make overruling and like that. So voting is part of the process, and it's more like confirming the existing consensus. We did have a change in procedures lately due to GR changing it.
Yeah, exactly. I would kind of expect actually you to vote always, like also to choose to not to vote. And choose to not overrule a maintainer is a choice.
Yes, but it has happened that it is clear that nobody wants to overrule, or nobody stands for a given option, then it is not voted on.
Yeah, just to complete on that, I think historically it has been issues where the person was asking for advice, had gotten advice, and though there is no point to vote that the advice was the advice of all the committee. The advice was given by certain members, and that was enough. So there's no point to vote there, to just close the bug. So you can just close the bug because...
I think the packaging format thing was an advice question, but we actually voted on it to give it the firm footing. Yeah. So whenever stuff gets to the technical committee, yeah, it gets complicated.
Is anyone watching IRC if there's any questions?
One of the statements on your slides were more diversity. You skipped quickly over it, but will you do that actively for next?
That's why Gunnar prepared the slides. No.
Well, to be fair, I prepared these slides a couple of years ago. I don't know if for 18 or 19, and they have been updated since. And I copied those slides over from somebody else's. Yours, great. Okay, so the idea is at fault. No, well, we do want to encourage diversity. In fact, we were just discussing that before the session, not only in the most visible ways. Say right now, with Elana having to resign for personal reasons, we are losing the only woman member, and that is a bad thing. But also, if what we were discussing, if we were to include a new member that has views that are known to be very similar to other members, those members are not very happy with it because it diminishes diversity as well. So we want people to be ideologically or technologically diverse as much as possible within Debian. I mean, we're not trying to change the init system to, how is it called in Windows?
So yeah, even
I mean, let's not water down the meaning of the term diversity here. I think part of the problem that I'm seeing, in addition to being the non-man on the committee, I'm also, I believe, the youngest at this time. I think that the demographics of some of the younger folks within the project might be more suitable to improving the diversity on the TC, but then they also don't necessarily have the experience or mediation skills in order to do the job. So, there's as they say, there's a pipeline, but the pipeline has not yet reached maturity. And so, I don't know, maybe we can start recruiting more DDs from, get people to come and join the project who could do this job, who are not otherwise involved, might be one way to help with that. But there's definitely, I will say, some amount of pressure being, the one obvious, not a dude, disabled, not straight, youngest, etc. on the committee. So I hope that other people might be able to fill this role, and I think it would be great. I'm not really in a position to go recruit those people right now, but I trust that the committee and the project, it's in hopefully good hands.
We are also considering Emacs users.
I'm not.
Well, I'm like the one Lisp user who uses Vim, so.
Any other questions in the room? I'm not seeing any questions on IRC except ODXC waving. Before I close off, I will thank the presenters. I have two announcements from the organizing team. After the talk, there's the photograph. Don't forget to go there. And there was an announcement mail sent out about the day trip tomorrow. Please check because the timing is early, so make sure you're on time.
So should we vote whether to close this session early?
You guide us in that process then.
But we need to sign
Doesn't involve
the
a
vote.
Perl script.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But maybe I just take the authority as the talkmeister to close the vote. Please.
Okay.
Applause for the
Okay.
committee.